Your speaker is off. You're on mute. But you can hear me? Okay, if you can hear me, I guess I can't hear any of you. Blaine, your speaker, it shows mute, and Destiny, yours shows mute. So does yours, Josh. But Bill and Audrey are on. So if I can't hear you, I can't really participate. So I checked my speakers, they're up. Okay, I'll wait.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Yay!
Yay.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. We're
All
on.
right.
Woo-hoo. Thank you.
I'm joking, of course.
Have some food.
I'm having more chocolate. Yum, 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 yum. What I told Nancy, I should.
Y'all are having too much fun.
Always. I was looking for Butterfingers. Used to be.
Hey, Donna.
Yes.
Oh, great. We got you over the overhead speakers now. We're good.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. You guys can hear me?
Yes.
All right. So after some technical difficulties,
4:41 p.m.
I call this meeting of the Meridian Historic Preservation Commission to order. It is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. I'll do the roll call again. Blaine Johnston's here. Commissioner Neri, not here. Commissioner Lucigan,
I am here.
cool. Commissioner Fitzgerald is not here. Commissioner Everts,
I am here.
Commissioner Hart,
Here.
Commissioner Alt, and Councilwoman Jessica Pearl is not here. Adoption of the agenda.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everts,
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
motion by Commissioner Everts, seconded by Commissioner Lucigan for approval of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of our March 25th meeting minutes.
Mr. President, I move that we approve those minutes from March 25th.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Lucigan, seconded by Commissioner Hart for approval of our March 25th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. New business. Approve our financial statement through April 1st, 2021. Audrey, is there anything we need to know about financial statements?
Mr. President, I don't have anything to report.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everts,
I recommend or motion that we approve this very uninteresting and non-changing budget for the month of March.
I second that emotion.
Pun intended.
motion by Commissioner Everts, seconded by Commissioner Lucigan for approval of our monthly financial statement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Approve expenditures for walking tour brochure order.
Yes, Mr. President, last year we ordered 1,000 brochures from Modern Printers. we're already on our last 100 brochures, so it's time to order again, and I suggest we replace the order for 1,000 that we did last year.
And our cost would be,
The cost would be, I attached our invoice from last year, $1,296.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everts.
maybe this is a little bit of a question for Audrey. If we motion at the same amount, do we know that this is going to be the price for modern printers this year?
Good question, Mr. President, Commissioners. We don't. I don't know if the prices have changed. It was a good point. I didn't think about that. I just assumed that it would be the same as last August, but their prices could have changed.
Would it be appropriate to do a not to exceed amount, Mr. Neri?
So, Mr. President, members of the commission, Commissioner Everts, certainly you could either build it up to $1,500 or whatever reasonable amount above that. And then obviously we're only going to pay whatever the invoice is. So that would be fine.
All right, with that, Mr. Commissioner, Presidente, I would motion that we approve a not to exceed amount of $1,500 for the reprinting of 1,000 Historical Society walking tour guides.
My question, if it comes in more than 1,500, just reapprove the additional,
So if it were to come in more than 1,500, then she wouldn't be able to.
I would
No, the-
just,
What's that?
I would just print 900
Whichever you could
and
get.
whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
perfect.
I'll
Mr.
second.
Who seconded?
Oh, Destiny.
Destiny.
Well played.
Well played, agreed. So motion by Commissioner Everett, seconded by Commissioner Hart for an expenditure not to exceed $1,500 for our walking tour brochures order. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Mr. President, before I say I have a question. Is it appropriate at this time?
It is.
So how much do we have in the budget for this kind of thing? Did we allocate for printing and that sort of thing, a certain amount in the budget?
In our budget, we have $1,000 for printing and promotional materials. Last year, we used that $1,000 from printing and promotional and used the amount over $1,000 from our photography services budget. I think if we do the same method this time, we will be covered.
And we won't bump into our photography budget? Okay, then I'm an aye.
Nays? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4, approve expenditure for walking tour app maintenance fee.
Yes, Mr. President. Each year, we pay a maintenance fee for our walking tour app. In 2018, we had an agreement with the Meridian Downtown Business Association to split that cost 50-50. So we paid $500 and MDBA paid $500. MDBA has told us that they'd like to opt out of using the app. And so it will be up to us to pay that full $1,000. We already have a full $1,000 built into our budget, so it won't impact our budget. We can just cover that full cost. So this approval, if the commission chooses to approve, will be for paying the full maintenance fee, $1,000, and for releasing MDBA from the MOA we signed with them in 2018.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everett,
I would like to add some color to this.
would you please?
So I am a part of the transition team right now for MDBA. So MDBA is going through a process where we are transitioning from being a downtown business association, and we have gotten a team put together to move that underneath the Chamber of Commerce. So Sean Evans at the chamber has agreed. We felt like there were some duplicative efforts. And we felt like bringing the downtown into the larger chamber world would help promote downtown, and would give us staffing and infrastructure that MDBA just can't support right now. So that effort's probably going to take a couple of months. This was a part of the discussion that we had this week, the transition team working through that. The commitment that I got from the chamber is they want to pick up the other half starting next year. So I think that we're going to have a partner, and what the chamber was asking for was a way that not only could they participate financially, but they have many more members and businesses that we would be able to include. And they wanted to know if we would be willing, and this is probably a discussion for later, but if the HPC would be willing to consider, a layer or a tour, which is Chamber of Commerce businesses inside of the app, as well as the current historic walking tour, and that they would be willing to participate in an equal way that MDBA did. So part of this, it wasn't MDBA saying, hey, we just don't want to be a part of it anymore. It's just part of this transition effort. So my recommendation would be that for a year, if it's in our budget, to go ahead and take care of that. It's an important app. We need to have
It is
that.
important.
And I believe that underneath the Chamber of Commerce, if the MDBA does vote for that transition, which I think will happen, we're going to have an excellent partner in the chamber to really do something special with that and promote it to all the chamber businesses and exploit that. So I would highly recommend, and I'm happy to answer any questions that other commissioners might have, but that's what's happening behind the scenes.
Any questions for Commissioner Everts?
I have a question. Commissioner Everts, El Segundo, is their participation financially in that app, along with us, contingent on us agreeing to promote their businesses?
No, that I asked that question of Sean. So the way the chamber works, they go after a lot of grants, like a lot of grants. In fact, Sean had almost $13,000 in marketing budget that he was having a hard time spending by the end of last year because they have more money for promotion than they actually have projects available to them. So they're looking for things like this that promote Meridian in general, because they are a chamber of commerce. Like, it's not just business, but it's the city in general. I think we're going to have a very eager partner. I think there are probably, we can talk about it in the future in terms of working out that agreement. I think we're buying ourselves 1 year by re-upping the $1,000. My personal opinion is I think the $1,000 is a smart investment for us in general, even if we didn't get any sharing. But I think we're gonna have a cool partnership with the chamber. I look forward to Sean, once this transition's finalized, coming and talking to us, because I've asked him to figure out ways that our HPC can integrate with what the chamber's doing. And really bring that history thread, because that's something that helps attract new businesses to our area. So we want to get better about that connection. So I will be actively working on that.
Thank you. Good explanation. Thank you.
Mr. President, I had contact from Commissioner Naren. She said she's in the waiting room, but I don't.
Don't let her in. Deny her.
I don't see her.
We only have room for one Nary.
I'm happy to leave.
No.
Thank you.
Oh, hey,
There she
Karen.
is.
How's it going, Karen?
Hey, Karen.
Nice to see you, Karen.
Is it Karen or Stephanie?
See, I use my Zoom for too many things.
Come on.
Shared account.
Good seeing you.
Are
Nice
there,
to see you.
Donna, thank you for that question. Are there any other questions that I can answer on that?
Not from me. That
Okay.
was good. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. President,
Commissioner Everts.
I would motion that we approve the expenditure of $1,000 for our Tour Buddy licensing for the next year. I would also motion that we approve the dissolution of the agreement MOA that we have with the sharing of that with MDBA.
I second that.
Did you hear all that conversation, Commissioner Neri?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. Can we do the MOA agreement or dissolution at a later date? Keep it simple.
Mr. President, I think I can work with Audrey. We can take care of that. So that won't be a big deal.
Okay. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Everett, seconded by Commissioner Luskin for approval of $1,000 for walking tour app maintenance fee. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Reports, update. So social media efforts. Commissioner Everett and Commissioner Neri, you're up.
I'm going to let Commissioner Neri kick this off. I feel
Whoa.
like if she's going to show up late to the meeting, even though I want everybody to know that, you know, I support Karen on the call. I just
Thank
want
you.
to go on the record.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President, Commissioners. We were able to successfully get posts scheduled for April with Audrey's support. Just focused really heavily for the month of April on supporting kind of the student efforts that we're doing, and we have some content ready to go for the month of May, specifically the week leading up for Historic Preservation Month, and then also some posts scheduled towards the end of May. We're focusing on posting on Thursday, doing that Throwback Thursday. So I think content-wise, we're in a good spot through May, and then we'll need to start looking at new content for June. I'm perfectly fine continuing to do the content calendars until somebody else feels a burning desire, and then I will happily train and transition. Happy to have other friends on that journey, but I think we're in a good spot. And my only other thought about social media in general would be, now that we have a little bit of flexibility with that, is thinking about ways in which we can leverage the existing Instagram site as well. And maybe looking, I don't want to do that necessarily for Preservation Month, because I feel like there's going to be enough going on just monitoring the Facebook competition side of that. But perhaps we can start looking at posting some of the historic photos, things like that, on Instagram, only because I know there's a different audience and things. But it seemed to go fairly well. I saw the engagement, I saw the posts, and appreciate Audrey's support. If there's ever any thoughts, feedback, feelings, content, anything you want to add to the social media stuff, please send that my way and we'll schedule it.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everett.
adding a little bit more color, I got really interested in this kind of, I think that whole Throwback Thursday thing is just a great known social media kind of tag. And I'd love to be a part of that thread, you know, in the social media world. I think from the Instagram perspective, I went and pilfered a bunch of really, not pilfered, but collected. I had a bunch of photos
I know what you
of
meant.
historic properties. And I think that what I think that the social media committee, meaning I'll work back and forth with JC, a little bit of you, but I think that we could probably throw those into either a directory or document. I think I've got like 17 of them right now that are really great images. And, you know, at 17, that gives us 4 months of content if we're just doing Throwback Thursdays. And that might be a good step one as far as Instagram goes. Just to let people start seeing things. So
Perfect. Any questions for Commissioners Everett or Neri?
yeah, I have one more question for myself.
Yeah.
So JC, are we going to have a standing social media like subcommittee meeting, or are we working offline to develop these things? What's the proper thing to do?
I would like a standing committee meeting. I think even if it's just like 30 minutes.
Okay.
I just did April's based on our kind of our last meeting. We had the plan for May. And so I think when we talk about June, maybe it's this, I don't know, the same week of Preservation Month. I'm not particular on the date, but yeah, 30-minute once a month would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are we going to try to hit just for my calendar purposes, are we trying to make that at a recurring time and date that I can block out?
Mr. President and Commissioners, we can totally do that. Just do like, I'm just throwing out random, like the second Wednesday at 3:00 or something like that. That's,
Yeah, afternoons are always open. So, and JC's got probably a tighter schedule than I've got. So whatever works with her. And then there's this new program called Outlook. It gives you an outlook on your calendar and things I don't know if you've heard of this, but yes.
When did it come out? I haven't heard of it.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
It came out the same time that Wheels, I don't know if you guys know, those are round things that allow things to move easily. But that happened last week too.
Far too progressive for the Historic Preservation
I'm
Commission.
very, is it woke? I don't know what these kids are talking about. Am I woke? Can I say that
That's not what that means.
is that not what that means? I don't know. I'm so disconnected. I probably just got in trouble. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, counselor.
Oh,
Mr.
much
President
fun.
and Commissioners, I'll send out an email to the subcommittee and we'll work out the proper day and time.
perfect. That'll work.
Thank you.
All right. Item 6, update for history competition for students. Commissioner Hart, you're up.
Mr. President, Commissioners, the student initiative is active. Audrey sent out a press release and we have posts on the Historic Preservation Commission social media and the city social media. And we have contacted West Data and have information out to them, and they've assured us that they are passing that information to teachers at the very least. So what has happened to it at that point, we are unsure. We so far have no submissions, but we weren't expecting any until closer to the May 2nd deadline. So at this point, we just ask that you continue to spread the word. And then as soon as that deadline passes, Audrey will send out those materials for us to review and score. So be looking for that email after May 2nd.
So I guess as a reminder, why don't everybody go to our Facebook page, find that post, repost it, and just redo a deadline saying they're due the 2nd. And just let's get it out there again. Anything else, Destiny?
Rock star.
Cool, nice work.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much to Audrey. She's done a bulk of the work on this, so I appreciate her greatly.
We've praised Audrey too much on this call already.
Yeah,
There's a limit. Yeah,
True.
too big. She can't fit outside the door.
okay. Item 7, update for Preservation Month celebration.
Mr. President, Commissioners, I think we're in a good spot for that. The only missing piece would be what we want to do as far as number of prizes. I think supporting a downtown business makes sense to me if everybody's comfortable with that. And I just need some guidance, I think, from maybe Audrey or Counselor Neri as to what that looks like for spending city money. And I know there's a process and I can't for the life of me remember what that is, but I think I would propose up to 5 winners for $25 gift cards per, for each, which is a not to exceed amount of $125 for awards for that event, if that feels comfortable for everyone.
Sounds good.
Yes, Mr. President and Commissioners, we can use our HPC funds to purchase those. It's just a matter of going to the business and purchasing like a normal person with the approval of the commission, of course. So I would love suggestions of businesses to go to, some popular downtown places that would bring a draw or be appealing And we can do 5 different places or 5 gift cards from the same business.
How long do we have Slice?
What's that?
How long is Slice Box open?
Almost 9 years.
No, I mean, I know that they're on their way. They're closing. Or do we know how
They're
long?
not. No,
They're
they're
not.
staying open.
Okay, then ignore me. So Slice Box might be a good one, or that.
Truffles. I would do Truffles, Slice Box, 830 Common, Sushi Shack, Sunrise Cafe. There you go.
Great.
That would be my motion. $25 each. So it is so.
Commissioners, I have a question, President and Commissioners. Are those prizes going to, how do you determine who gets a prize?
Thank you. That's a really good question. Anybody who responds to the post will be entered during that day. So as opposed to trying to figure out, who answered first, those types of things, I think that's really just, it's not reasonable, I think, for people right now to be online at specific times. I think most people are wearing 2 or 3 or 4 hats as they're still homeschooling kiddos or working from home and juggling a lot. So I think anybody who interacts with the post during that day can be entered. And then I will just draw 5 names out of a hat. I'm happy to record it in case anybody feels not great about that or whatever later, and then provide Audrey with the list of those winners using their social media handles or their names so that we can post those the next morning. That's kind of how I see it. But if there's other ideas or ways, I'm super open-minded.
Just remember that Commissioner Everts is exempt from any prizes.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
on that note, I made a reach out to the most historic of all historic buildings in downtown Meridian that also won an Orchid Award in our state. And they were willing to donate a gift card to this event. But do we have any problems as a commission, or are we allowed to legally, Mr. Neri, to give away a gift card to a tobacco retailer? Are there sensibilities? Should we not be doing that? I'm happy to do it, but
Yeah, so I don't believe there's a legal impediment to that, but I guess I think the city would prefer to give gift cards to places that are open to everyone.
correct.
And there is just like Polly's has a limited clientele.
Yes.
I would think it's pretty similar in that
Okay.
regard. So
I just want to be on the record saying that I'm happy to do that. And I love
we
causing,
would love, you could donate one of the gift cards.
donate one of the, which gift cards?
Like-
Like somebody else?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah. The Sushi Shack one. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay.
so
So
if-
I will
if
be
you wanna
doing
just
that.
talk
So
about
we
it.
can approve $100 because I'll take care of the $25 Sushi Shack one. Done.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Neri.
President and
Counselor.
Commissioners, are there levels or anything? So here's what I was thinking. Somebody had said a few meetings back that we have a surplus of some of those historic coins. And if there was any kind of a level of, whatever, maybe some of those coins could be used as giveaways or whatever. But
Love that idea.
I would rather get a gift card, but I didn't know if there were like first place, second place, third place, or if it's just first come, first serve, or luck of the draw, whatever.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm thinking of it as luck of the draw only, I think, knowing of people's time commitments. And so first come, first serve didn't feel great to me. The more you engage on social media with it, right, the more entries you'd have. If you post 5 times, you get 5 entries. I like the idea though of pairing it up. Maybe they get a gift card and a coin for the top 5, and maybe we do, I don't know, what's a surplus? Is a surplus like 100 or
We have
How
a
many-
million. There's a
what is that?
million of them.
okay?
There's.
Might
at
be a
least-
fun way to use them up.
Yeah, I like that,
Yeah,
Donna.
there's at least, I'm going to say at least 100 coins in there.
Okay, so maybe we could hand out coins to the next
Yeah, so
40.
we could do the prizes and the coins, and then we also just pick some random people for the coins if they'd like.
I like that. Can I ask maybe a logistical question more for Audrey? These people are going to have to contact you to pick it up, or they can contact me to pick it up, but then I'd ultimately have to coordinate pickup schedules with you. Does that make your life chaotic? And do we want to be really intentional about the times that we make available for coordinating the pickup of those gift cards or coins or whatever, so you're not running all over the place?
Yeah, Mr. President, thanks for thinking, and commissioners, thanks for thinking of that, JC. I was thinking, if worst comes to worst, I would just mail them. You know, the coins would be a little extra weight, so I would see how much it costs to mail the coins. But if it's not too much, then I would probably just mail them and take care of it. But if that doesn't work, I'll just have them pick it up at the front desk in the Parks and Rec department, which is open from 8 to 5. So that, and then they would just be able to come in anytime.
So may I then make maybe a proposed amendment to the motion would be to increase the not to exceed to 150 to allow for postage. Partly because there's staff time involved with the pickup even at the parks office. And I realize that there's a cost to that employee's time too, interacting. So I think we're into the money either way. Maybe postage would be easier.
So, Mr. President, so the mailing is, I don't know that there's an account for the Historic Preservation Commission. So my guess is the only way we
Yeah.
can mail it is either putting stamps on it or just mailing it through the Parks Department budget. So you can't really reimburse the Parks Department budget. And then the same thing with time, there's always a person there. So there's no real additional effort for a person to stand there. So and again, we're not going to reimburse the Parks Department budget out of the HPC's budget for that.
Then back to $100 it is.
Okay,
But as Commissioner Everts would say, I want it on the record that we did attempt to take care of the team members.
So noted.
I
Thank
was
you.
almost going to offer to drive around and deliver these, but I mean, that's real danger. Like, we don't need that.
that's an accident waiting to happen.
That's an accident waiting to happen. I'd
That's
need
a
my fu-
headline
I'd
waiting to
I would
happen.
need my fuel reimbursed. Obviously, I need a snack. I can't drive 5 places without food and nourishment. It just gets complicated. All right, so I'm motioning $100. Those 4 businesses, or we'll make sure the 5th one's in there. So everything but Sushi Shack. That's it. That's my motion. I'm being very unprofessional right now.
I'll second that motion.
That's what I'm talking about, Donna.
Cool.
Thank you.
So motion by Commissioner Everts, seconded by Commissioner Lusigan for a not to exceed or for an expenditure of $100 for gift cards for Celebration Month. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Even with our technical difficulties, it was a quick meeting. Thanks, everybody. Future meeting topics. So we can discuss how History Month went next month and discuss how our student competition went.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everett,
do we need to re-engage on topics of sites? Whether, a follow-up with what's going on with the Speedway, what's going on with the mill? Would that be appropriate?
yes,
Yeah. I just don't want to lose sight of those.
yep.
Mr. President, I think next month we'll also consider doing a new site with Brandon Hull's virtual tours. We've done that every summer, and I think it'd be a good time to bring that back up too.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we've got a list of topics that we'll talk about next month. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
Mr. President, usually the one thing that may come up in May is in the past, and I don't know how we did, I don't remember how we did it last year, but usually the mayor's office will check in because budgets are starting to get budget hearings in June. So there may be a conversation between now and May with Audrey and myself with the mayor on the current budget and whether it's sufficient and is there going to be any changes or any needs.
I want $1 million.
No,
Sure.
I just said
You
no.
don't get anything if you don't ask, but that may be a topic that we may be coming back. We'll just have to wait and see on that.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everett.
and I think along those lines, I know that we've had some expenditures in the past for travel, conferences and stuff like that. And I know that we haven't had that during this COVID year. But I want to protect those, so there might be some So I'm just finding out, I don't know what these organizations are looking at for next year, but just in that general theme, making sure that in that budget drill, we try to protect as much as we can, because we need to get back out, engage with those national kind of groups.
Mr. Neri, do you know what the mayor's position is going to be for 2022 for travel?
I do not. So that definitely would be a conversation. So I don't know what the perspective is going to be.
Okay, yeah, but let's keep that money there for some sort of education. Perfect.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Everts.
I motion that on this beautiful day, and it is stunning outside, that at 5:15 PM, we adjourn this fantastic meeting of the great Historic Preservation Commission of Meridian, Idaho.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Everett, second by Commissioner Hart for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're out of here.